Hey moms, it's Rachel here. I'm coming to you live this week. Hopefully this one's going to be a quick one. My kids are sabotaging nap time. The 9-month-old is crawling around. My 2-year-old I just took out of her crib. I went up there probably 4 times. And my son is probably going to come down any minute. He has one of those alarm clocks that turns green when quiet time is over, so he'll be down any moment. But I wanted to pop on here and talk about how to heal and strengthen your pelvic floor while you're training for your next event, okay? Once you get here, say hi, say hello. I love to see who is coming on here. Hey, Julia, nice to see you here. So this is for you if you are dealing with pelvic floor issues or you're trying to prevent pelvic floor issues. So maybe you're early postpartum, everything's gone smoothly so far, and you're ready to get back to running, or you have your eye on a 5K or a 10K or that half marathon or whatever it is. And a lot of times the mindset is, hey, Ashton, nice to see you here. Say hi, say hello when you get here. If you're catching this on replay, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. So a lot of times the mindset is, and I posted this question in the group to try to see sort of where everybody was at with this, but the mindset a lot of times is I have to heal and strengthen my pelvic floor before I train for my next event. But I'd like to challenge you to change that and think of it this way, that everything that you do up to the point of an event or meeting a goal distance or meeting a pace distance, hey Amy, nice to see you here, is considered training, right? So if I'm doing like early postpartum, right, if I'm doing pelvic floor and core work, that's actually training for my half marathon, okay? So it's, our athlete brain says, unless I'm like following a strict run training plan, I'm not training for that event, right? After hey Mackenzie, hey Alexis, nice to see you all here. When you say hi, when you come on, say hi in the comments, just so that I know that you're watching. It also helps to bump this training up so that more moms can catch it and benefit from it. So I appreciate that. So after I had my second baby, and if you heard this story before, I'm sorry for that, but if you're new, we have a lot of new members here. I've had 4 kids. After my second one, actually during that second pregnancy, I had a lot of pelvic pain, a lot of pelvic girdle pain, and it really was limiting for me postpartum for a very long time, which is why I got into this field. But I did go through the motions of like wondering like how I was going to get back to running again, if I was going to get back to running again. That was kind of a scary thought. But also like, my husband was running and like he was talking about like, well, when you feel better and you get back to running regularly, then we can do a half marathon together. And it was hard for me to sort of wrap my head around that I would be at a point where I would be able to do that again. But I did, and I did aim for that. I put that like on the schedule loosely. I put it on the schedule. But everything that I was doing, all the strength training that I was doing, all of the like pelvic floor work that I was doing, all of the core ab work, all of the pelvic stability work that I was doing, all of the runner specific exercises I was doing, right? In addition to, I could tolerate walking fairly well. So I was walking and I was doing like this other, all of the other rehab and the other exercises gradually building as I was able. But all of that was the training for that half marathon, okay? And I ended up doing that half marathon in the fall while pushing my son in the stroller. It took me a lot longer than I wanted it to, but everything that I did up to that point was really the training for that, right? And like if you think about any event that you've done, right? Like have you done a 10K, or have you done a marathon before, or have you done, a 50K or 100? We have some moms who do ultras, like 100-mile race, right? Like it's like everything that you've done up to that race, like you could say, well, all the 5Ks that I did leading up to that 10K was training. Or you could say, everything that you did up to the point of, this is Emma, say hi to Emma. Everything that you did leading up to that 50K or that 100K or whatever multi-day race, like if you're doing like longer distance events, like you could say that everything you did up to that point counts as training. So why can't we think of it that way with our pelvic floor too, right? Yay, right? So think of it that way with our pelvic floor too, right? Where we have to strengthen and heal, right? So if you're in the earlier postpartum, we need to heal. But even if like it's been a while, like you still need to do the pelvic floor and core stuff. You still need to strengthen in order to get to the point where you can run consistently again, right? And then getting to the point where you can run consistently again, that's sort of like the pre-training or the pre-plan before the if you want to say the actual training, right? Where you're following like more of a regimented like run training plan. So I really challenge you to kind of think about that, because I've kind of put some stuff out, to other, into other groups. I have a business group, and one of the other moms there, she said to me, well, I wouldn't even think about like doing an event, because I know my pelvic floor is a mess, and I know that I need to like do all that work first before I train for any sort of an event. But really, when you break it down, and the way that my Return to Run program is structured is that every exercise has a specific rationale that will build to help you eventually with your running, right? So like, going to like a pelvic floor PT, a lot of times it's necessary, right? And it's helpful. And you also want to be working with somebody who understands your needs as a runner too, right? So just doing general exercises are good, but you also need somebody. She only napped for a little while this morning and then woke up way too early this afternoon, so that's why we're fuss. But you also need Emma, I'm trying to talk here. But you also need runner-specific exercises too. So a lot of moms who I talk to who say, oh yeah, I'm in pelvic floor PT, I always say, make sure that the PT or the healthcare professional that you're working with is well-versed in working with runners, because it's not, it's not the same, it's not the same to just do general rehab when you want to get back to running, because that's a higher level activity and you need more specific training. So when you think about like, even if you just had your baby, I have moms who have just had their babies and they're like, yeah, I want to like PR my half marathon time. Like, that's awesome. And they're not running yet, or, it's been a few months and they're still not quite running yet because their pelvic floor isn't where they want it to be. And it's not allowing them to do what they want to do. It's still great to have that goal. I know sometimes it can be hard as a runner, like because you're not running, to kind of envision that. But if you use that as your end goal, and all of the training and all of the exercises that you do leading up to that, that is the training, okay? So I challenge you to set some goals for yourself. Hey, no biting. No biting. I challenge you to set some goals for yourself. So even if you're not really like feeling it, like what is like in an ideal world, right? In an ideal world, like pelvic floor feels great, strength is great, you have all the time to train, your kids cooperate, right? What is your next running goal? What is it? And put that in the comments or send it to me. I would love to hear what your running goals are. I think that's going to be it for us. We're going to sign off. And we'll see you next week. And maybe Sylvia's sleeping next week. This is the overtired balance. I'm sure you can relate. So thanks for joining me this week. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.